Welcome to the Sisters in Loss podcast, a faith-based podcast that spotlights Black women that replace silence with storytelling around pregnancy and infant loss and infertility. Black women experience miscarriage and stillbirth 4 to 5 times more likely than white women in the United States, according to the CDC and NIH. Whether you've experienced a miscarriage, infant loss, or stillbirth, are trying to conceive, or have an infertility diagnosis, you will learn about resources and strategies to heal, gain clarity, peace, and hope, and find an empowering path forward after loss. I'm your host, Erica M. Freeman, and you'll hear me interview other sisters in loss from around the world who have healed from such a painful and traumatic experience by sharing their testimonies and stories to inspire and help others turn their pain into their purpose. Storytelling is powerful. Storytelling is activism. Storytelling is healing. Now let's get started. Welcome to the Sisters in Loss podcast. It's your girl, Erica Michelle, and I'm back for another solo episode. I was sitting on my couch about to scroll back through TV. I'm recording this on Wednesday, January 28th, and I was like, oh, should I rewatch Bridgerton as if I have not rewatched it, a million times before this new season drops tomorrow? And I was like, you know what? I need to record a podcast because I have not recorded a solo podcast in a while. And it's time as I put on some lip gloss because my lips is chapped. If you're watching here on YouTube. Hey girl, hey. And I was like, you know what? I'm waiting between meetings. I have a meeting in an hour. I have a class I'm teaching in an hour after that. And I was like, I'm here. So let's just do a solo episode and do a one take, and I upload what I share here. So, as you can see from the title, there has been some changes awry. I came into 2026 expecting to hit the ground running, and life has lifed the entire month of January. I hope that I'm just coming up for air, and I hope and pray that the rest of the year is not like this beginning of the year. So that's why you have not seen an episode drop of the Sisters in Laws podcast since the end of December, because life is life. It's not like I don't have episodes in the mix for you all. I do. I have probably 6 episodes that should be going live over this next month, but I wanted to make sure I drop one before the end of the month to tell you Happy New Year. Um, Happy Martin Luther King Day. And um, I hope that everything that you want, need, and desire happens in 2026. If you speak it into existence and you manifest it, you write it down, you pray about it, and you see God's face, that it comes to pass for you this year. So I want to start off by saying that I'm speaking to you, but I'm also speaking to myself because that is the atmosphere we're setting. The other thing is that I came into this year really expecting Never Healing Alone to launch in October of 2026. And I had a meeting with my publishing team this week, and we decided to move it until next year to launch in April of 2027, just because of some capacity issues with our publisher. And then also because it's such a volatile cycle right now when it comes to news. And this is a huge election year, midterm election year. I don't want to be drowned by releasing a book in October when midterms is that first week in November. Obviously, you all know in the United States, we do elections on the first Tuesday in November. So another reason why I felt like, oh, this is probably more aligned in what is already happening and shaping up in our world and culture and zeitgeist. Obviously, having a book launch during October, which is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month, is amazing because we could focus on that. But this year, that focus is maybe lost because many people are going to be focused on all the craziness that's going to be happening with midterms, as we have seen thus far in 2022 about what's happening currently right now in Minnesota. And obviously, I don't really get into a lot of hot topics, things that are happening in culture. Um, People who have lost their lives to not only police brutality, and in this case, ICE, but maternal mortality or infant mortality. I really don't talk a lot about that on this show, as I think that that takes away from the dynamic aspect of storytelling, as I truly believe storytelling is activism and storytelling is an advocacy platform and a way to use your voice to connect to one another, to find not only how you grieve, language around grieving, but what healing may look like for you. So we really don't get into details about, what's happening there. It's the reason why I love Sisters-in-Law's podcast is because it's evergreen. You can pick it up pretty much anytime in your own journey and binge as many episodes as you want to listen to just to hear and connect with like-minded women, mothers, parents who have navigated the journey of grief and loss and having trying again, having their rainbow babies, having subsequent rainbow babies, adoption, fostering, all of the above. And I think that that is the beauty of it. So I typically don't do that on this show. But obviously, in today's episode, I'm sharing a little bit more about just my feelings around just what's happening because it's been a part of why not only has this podcast been delayed for this month, but also what has held me back from really going forward with soliciting new stories for the podcast. It is as a empath, as a um manifesting generator. I am a Scorpio rising, Cancer sun, Cancer moon. If you all know any of what those things mean, it means that I am a truly intuitive, deep, deep feeler. So when things are happening in the world around me, I'm already at a level of deep feeling. But when things are happening also internal in my own world, it takes me to a place where um I have to just literally get on my knees and pray. And if I really could go touch grass, I really would. It's the reason why I'm a gardener. I would be outside in my garden working on things. And it's something I actually am planning on doing this weekend is planting some seeds to get us together. But child, I will tell you that I'm obviously not going to put all my business out there, but it has been a hard month. And knowing that my book is not going to be published in 2026 was disheartening, but also a sign of relief because now I can set this runway up. I have like almost literally 15 months of me pushing this book and pushing this platform forward. And it allows me to be creative in doing so. So I'm excited about a few things that we're going to do differently here on the Sisters in Loss podcast as we gear towards April 2027 when Never Healing Alone finally makes its debut. I am going to continue to take you all on this journey as I have had from the beginning when I initially got my book deal. So I'm excited for you all to join me. We are going to go through, I'll do probably another solo episode where I share more about the subtitle process. I had a subtitle in mind that I probably have shared on the podcast. The publishers want a different subtitle, and I would love to workshop that with you all in real time. So we are going to do that. I am launching a series in April, um, leading up until the book releases, where we will have a live workshop every month. It is a healing series that I'm launching, and I've already reached out to a few people that I love and admire, and I want to be in conversation with. So it will be kind of a live podcast format that we will do with those individuals. So that starts in April, and you'll start to see some flyers and promotion materials and things in your inbox. So if you're not on the Sisters in Laws mailing list, join our mailing list at sistersinlaws.com/newsletter. I also am going to be launching some new offerings within Sisters in Laws Training Institute. Obviously, we have our doula training, but we're also going to be offering some other trainings for doulas to expand their practice, as well as training for corporate clients this year as well. So I'm excited about those corporate offerings and things of that nature. And then, as far as Sisters in Loss support groups, we still are partnered with Postpartum Support International. We have our two support groups that we do. The introductory support group happens every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that is an ongoing support group. You can join anytime. And then and that support group's called Black Moms in Loss. And then the second support group that we have with PSI is called Black Moms in Loss Returning. And that group meets on the first and third Tuesday of the month at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. And that is for moms who have been to the support group, numerous times before, at least three or more times, and they want to not go through all of the educational stuff that we go through in the beginning of the support group. We can just go into talking, and it gives you more time to connect with ladies who've been in the support group for a while and are just coming to be in community and want to learn people's tools and coping mechanisms and how they're dealing with life is just lifing for us all in different ways. And sometimes being in community, we hear other stories and recognize that not only we're not healing alone, but also we are all navigating similar situations at the same time. So it's almost like divine to be in community with people, because it's like God sent you here for me to hear what you're saying, and God sent you here for me to pour into you because you just poured into me. So if you all have ever doubted the power of support groups, no matter where you are on your journey, I think they are necessary. You don't necessarily have to be fresh out of experiencing your loss. I think being a part of a support group, even 10, 11, 12, 13 years, 14 years, 20 years prior to your loss, especially if you've never been in one before, allows you to mourn. I always say that grieving is that inward expression of how we navigate our feelings when it comes to our losses. Mourning is that outward expression. Grieving requires us to mourn. And sometimes talk therapy gives us the opportunity to mourn and share with our therapist, but it is even critical that we do it in community. So I'm not here to sell the Black Moms in Loss and Sisters in Loss partnership with PSI, but as someone who's facilitated this group for the last 4 years, I can tell you how powerful it is and how powerful it is for just even my own personal grief journey. Because a lot of times we put things in the back of our mind and may not have thought about it, but when it's fresh on someone else's mind, it brings back up those feelings. Those triggers come back up for us, and then we recognize, hold on, I got a little bit more work to do. And that is okay. And that's the whole point of being in community and knowing that you're held no matter how you show up. Um, and that we really don't have to show up being strong all the time. So that leads me all the way into the reason why I'm excited about the book being pushed out because it gives me more opportunity to really introduce a lot of the concepts of the book. I think I've shared a little bit about the healing archetype method that I developed, but it really gives me time to workshop those with you all and really bring you in to understanding exactly how are you showing up on your own healing journey and it doesn't really matter how you're showing up because you can show up one way today and a different way tomorrow. But what are you going to do about it to really recognize who you are becoming as a part of this? Because yes, our babies may have died, but we all are becoming, God has called us to become something bigger, greater, um, in as a part of that journey. And I don't always like that saying of, God's going to give you better or, all the nuanced sayings that a lot of people say to us. But what I do know is that there is a message in this. And sometimes it takes us not only reading and understanding what healing may look like for us through the lens of other people, but also when we come together, how does that manifest for us? So I'm excited to continue to develop that over this next year and for you to bring you all on that journey. So Never Healing Alone debuts in April 2027 during Black Maternal Health Week. I am excited, have been excited for you all to actually see the book in itself, in its whole, in its entirety. But I'm gonna take you on the journey. Subtitle creation, book cover reveal. We're gonna do all the things here because I think it's necessary to pour back into the community that has poured so much into me and has given so much to me as I have grown over these 8 years being a podcaster. So excited about that. What other things are on the horizon for Sisters in Loss outside of workshops, outside of um, uh, online training, new podcasts, grief support groups, programs? You all should see some events that will be coming out this year. I have really not necessarily been scared or reluctant, to be honest with you. Um, Planning events is a little bit more difficult nowadays. Because first, and just in general, planning events is difficult because you do all this work to put in an event. Some people may show up, some people may not show up. You may get the partnerships, you may not get the partnerships. But what I can say is that I'll be doing a lot more smaller things because I feel like those things, the intimate things, are better for people to be able to come out, to be able to mix and mingle with one another. And then you will see some larger events around, October, obviously, during Pregnancy and Infants and Loss Awareness Month. But if you are in the DC metro area or even in Baltimore area, you should definitely join our mailing list at sistersinloss.com/newsletter so that you can see what other events that are coming happening within the area. So we are going to do some smaller things in the area and then we will do larger things. So you should see those coming this year. So that is something else that should be happening. Um, on a personal note, because life is life and things have been all over the place, I am looking forward to being rooted and grounded this year. I have basically been traveling a lot over the last 2.5, almost 3 years. And not because I didn't want to travel, guys, like obviously that's a love language, but me slowing down this year obviously was a part of launching this book. Even with the book being pushed out, I still am looking forward to, you know, digging in, spending time at home, really digging into new hobbies. As a novice gardener, excited about this planting season. I feel like that is a spiritual journey of planting a seed in soil, watering it, giving it the right sun, and watching it grow, watching it develop leaves and develop flowers and turn into fruit so that you can actually pick and harvest. Like I think that is just such a beautiful and powerful thing. I am going to probably launch my own personal YouTube. Something that people don't know is that I do vlog. I just never post. So I probably have vlogs of all of my travels over the last 3 years and just have never posted, never edited to post. Let me say that. So I actually am going to hire another video editor and because Erica, I'm not going to edit them myself and actually post some of the footage from my travels over the all over the world and so it'll be just my own life YouTube. I may do personal vlogs of my everyday life, but I also just don't think my everyday life is exciting enough to post consistently. But I actually just think that, making content of the things that you're doing and just being authentic resonates with a lot of people, and a lot of people maybe in a similar season that I am in where they are not married or they may have been divorced. They're raising their child and co-parenting. They may live alone like I do. They may be dating like I am. Well, I wouldn't say I'm dating. I mean, I am dating, but I am actually in a relationship. So that's a whole nother thing too. So I actually think that that may be maybe it's interesting. Is that interesting to you? Or, what books I'm reading or things of that nature, just some personal things, some personal touches. So, I think that that's an endeavor that I'm looking forward to launching very soon. So I've already contacted a video editor. I hired someone and they are putting together my stuff, my vlogs from some of my travels and all of my gardening season last year. I vlogged it all. I may have posted some things on my Instagram stories, but I also am I'm having them do a compilation of like the 2025 garden season for me. And then I'm going to obviously start vlogging this season, this gardening season. So that is something that I'm looking forward to leaning into more YouTube. I got off of TikTok recently and am not getting back on TikTok. I think that if people send me TikTok videos, I'm be like, girl, I can't watch it. You have to figure out how to send it to me because I got off of TikTok. I just don't like what this current administration is doing around data collection, entry, and all of the above. I feel like my data is already enough on some of these other apps, and I constantly, at least once a week, go through to make sure that I'm not sharing additional information with the current apps that I am on. But that's one of the ones that I just felt like I didn't really get the hype on it. I understand how people were growing and making a lot of money, but I'm a long form content girl. As a elder millennial, it's just what I love. I love sitting and watching a YouTube video, and the longer the better. I watched a 2 hour video today. They got all my views. So I think that that is where I just really love and gravitate towards. So it's just a personal preference. And I am going to do some more hobbies this year. I just think that we, as folks who do a lot of creative work where you use one part of your brain, in maybe your day job and then you use another part of your brain in your side hustle, that it is imperative for us as we grieve, as we heal, as we go through life to have things that we can pour back into ourselves. And for me, that's using my hands. So gardening is one thing, but some other things that I'm interested in um possibly taking a pottery class. I'm interested in taking more cooking classes. It's something that me and my partner me and him we love to do together where we cook together. I'm interested in Taking some dance classes this year. It's always has been on my list. I'm interested in doing some skating. I have these skates that I have had forever, and they just need to be dusted off. And so I'm interested in doing that. And dance, I mean more so salsa, because I actually do have salsa shoes as well. So, I'm looking to do more hobbies and pouring back into myself that way where I explore something different every month and do a new hobby. So, my hobby that I'm starting this weekend for the month of February is to do sourdough. I am a baker, I'm a cooker. I've never done sourdough. I've never tried. And as a chemical engineer and chemist who loves experiments, come on, like why haven't I done it? Really, to be honest with you, I never been steady or in place long enough to do it. Let me be real. I was supposed to be out of town last weekend. Like it's just one of those things where I'm always going and I think that sometimes when you are sitting still, it allows God to speak to you. It allows God to pour into you in different ways. And in this season, I think that's where I'm at. I'm ready to be poured into. I'm opening my heart and my arms and my hands and saying, have your way, God. Have your way. Enlarge my territory and allow me the space and the grace to do things that I've never done before. And that's my goal for February is to start to have a sourdough starter. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. I never did during pandemic. I was going through divorce. It was just too much. So no, I'm doing it now. So I'm excited about doing that. I found a good little recipe. I have all of the supplies and ready for it. Actually have a baking kit for sourdough. I just never have used it. And I was cleaning, doing some spring cleaning or and reorganizing my kitchen. And I realized I had it. And I was like, Erica, you have a scale. You have the whole thing. You have friends who always make sourdough. Your mother's making sourdough. Why don't you try it? So something new to do. So hopefully that you are taking a little bit of way of some of the things I'm saying. Obviously I'm a little bit all over the place, but hopefully that you're keeping up and following me of what I'm sharing about my own personal experience and journey for this year. So I've talked about sisters-in-laws, I've talked about never healing alone and our pub date. As you can see, the title change, not the title change, but the publication date change. Talked a little about my personal life, and I think that I recognize that what year 8 of Sisters-in-Laws means, the new beginnings of time, and it's the reason why I was excited about my book being published this year. Um, New beginnings, new changes, new opportunities. But I want you to think about what's happening in your life that's similar. As this podcast evolves, as I have evolved, as you have evolved, how, what are those new things that you are praying about, that you're manifesting, that you're meditating on, that you are seeking God's face for, that He's bringing into your life? Come here, sis. It's time. It's time. I don't know why you're waiting. Stop what you're doing. Open those notes app on your phone, your iPhone, which is God's phone, or those Androids, and write it clear, write it out. And then I want you to execute. What are you waiting for? It is your time. This is that year for you. The thing that you have been praying about and manifesting and waiting on God for, we have to put the work behind it. And I think I say that every year that I come and do a New Year episode is that we have to do the work, even if the work is hard, because the work is hard. And typically, I always say that God, there's a breakthrough on the other side if I'm going through what I'm going through, that God is going to bless me on the other side of this because I know He's kept me through this. He's kept me through. He's kept me going. He's kept me focused that I know that there's going to be a breakthrough on this on the other side. So, what are you waiting for, sis? If you could see my face on the YouTube, what are you waiting for? It is your time. It is your time to shine. And I cannot wait to see all that God is going to do in your life. So I want you all to leave me comments. Let me know. Shoot me a DM and let me know what happens because I already know that everyone who listens to this episode and has listened up until this point, that they have something on the horizon that is going to bless so many people. And you have to do the work in order for God to bless it. So I'm grateful for you all. I'm grateful for this community. I'm grateful that you have listened to me rant and rave for the last, 30 something minutes. I can't wait for you. Oh, I look at me wrapping up when I actually have something else to share. The biggest part of navigating and going through a book launch or anything is making sure that you are getting your message out there. And I actually was going to share about my personal newsletter that comes out bi-weekly. I started a new Substack. It's called Held Here, and it really is based on this premise of we all need to be held somewhere. There, I will go into a little bit more what's happening in the zeitgeist, pop culture, media around maternal health equity, things that I'm reading that I'm loving, and then ways and affirmations that we can be held as we continue to heal. So definitely follow me on Substack at Erica Michelle Free. You can follow me on Instagram and get a direct link to my Substack. And I will make sure I send it out to the Sisters in Loss community as well this upcoming Monday when the new edition goes live. As I'll be talking a little bit about what's happening in Minnesota and sharing more details about my call to action for you all as it regards to what ICE is, how we can show up for community if ICE comes to our doors and comes to our neighborhoods. So definitely Erica Michelle Free .substack.com and follow me on Instagram where you can find more about that Substack. So I was about to close out talking about being held here. And I want to make sure that you all know that you have a place to be held. And this is the place that we are never healing alone. And I hope that you all have an amazing new year. And I can't wait to hear the stories about how God is going to blow your mind in all the new beginnings. So you all have an amazing 2026, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Bye, everybody. Thank you for listening to today's episode. For show notes, go to sistersinloss.com to stay connected with us and join the Sisters in Loss community and receive my weekly newsletter. Please go to sistersinloss.com/newsletter. That is sistersinloss.com/newsletter. Please rate and review this episode, and I will talk to you next week.